Eleanor had never been held gently. At 28, she'd known only harsh hands and harsher words. Her father had been cruel, her first employer worse. When she'd finally escaped to answer an Apache rancher's advertisement for a mail-order bride, she'd done so not seeking love but survival. Love was something she'd read about in books, something that happened to other women, softer women who knew how to receive tenderness. Now she stood in Nashota's cabin, her belongings unpacked, their vows spoken before the justice of the peace that morning. He'd been nothing but kind during their brief courtship through letters. But as evening fell and they were truly alone for the first time, Eleanor felt panic rising in her chest. She didn't know how to do this, how to be a wife in the ways that mattered beyond cooking and cleaning. What happened next would teach her that the greatest journeys begin with a single step of faith. And healing starts when someone offers patience instead of demands. But before we continue with this tender story, if you believe in the transformative power of gentle love, hit that like button and subscribe because we share stories of hope and healing every single day. Nashota noticed her trembling hands as she tried to busy herself arranging the kitchen. "Eleanor," he said softly, "come sit with me, just sit. Nothing more." She sat stiffly in the chair across from him, her body rigid with tension. Nashota studied her face, seeing the fear she tried to hide. "Tell me what frightens you." "I don't know how to be loved," Eleanor said, the words bursting out before she could stop them. "I don't know how to let someone be kind to me without waiting for the price I'll have to pay. I don't know how to trust gentle words or soft touches because in my experience they always come with conditions, with expectations, with violence when I fail to meet them." Nashota was quiet for a long moment. Then he spoke softly, his accented English careful and deliberate. "Love needs no lesson, only trust. And trust is not given in a day. It is built slowly, like a fire, one small stick at a time." Eleanor looked at him, confusion and hope warring in her eyes. "I want to be a good wife to you. I want to fulfill my part of our agreement, but I don't know how to be what you need." "What I need," Nashota said, "is for you to heal. What I need is a partner who feels safe, not a servant who lives in fear. What I need is time to show you that not all men are like the ones who hurt you." He leaned forward slightly. "Tell me your rules. Tell me what you need to feel safe, and I will honor those boundaries until you tell me different." Now you might wonder how someone learns to trust again after betrayal, how wounded hearts find courage to open. Share your thoughts in the comments about healing and second chances, because this story shows the patient work of rebuilding what cruelty destroyed. Eleanor felt tears threatening. "I need space. I need my own bed, my own room until I can bear to be close. I need you to move slowly, to ask permission before you touch me. I need you to mean what you say and say what you mean, because I can't survive more lies." Her voice dropped. "And I need you to be patient with me, even though I know that's asking too much." "It's not too much," Nashota said firmly. "You will have your own room. I will ask before I touch you, even something as simple as your hand. I will be honest always, even when the truth is hard, and I will be patient because healing cannot be rushed." He stood and showed her to a small room off the main cabin. "This is yours. The door locks from the inside. You are safe here, Eleanor. I give you my word." That night, Eleanor locked her door and cried into her pillow, overwhelmed by the strange sensation of feeling protected rather than trapped. For the first time in years, she slept without nightmares. The days that followed established a rhythm. Nashota kept his word meticulously. He asked permission before entering her space. He announced his presence before coming around corners so he wouldn't startle her. He complimented her cooking but never demanded specific meals. When she flinched away from an unexpected movement, he stepped back immediately and waited for her breathing to calm. "Why are you so patient?" Eleanor asked one evening after she'd panicked when he'd reached past her for a book. Most men would be angry by now, would demand their rights as a husband. Nashota set down the book he'd been reaching for. "In my culture, we believe that all things have their own time. A seed cannot be forced to grow faster by pulling on it. It grows when conditions are right, when it has water and sun and good soil. You are like that seed. I can provide safety and patience and kindness. But the growing, the healing, that happens in its own time." Eleanor found herself drawn to his wisdom, to the way he viewed the world. She began to sit closer to him in the evenings, not touching but near. She asked questions about his people, his beliefs, his life before her. he answered honestly, sharing his own sorrows and losses, showing her that he too had known pain. One afternoon, 2 months after their marriage, Eleanor was working in the garden when she stumbled and scraped her hand on a rock. She cried out in pain and frustration, and Nashoda came running from the barn. Without thinking, he reached for her hand to examine the injury. Eleanor flinched but didn't pull away. Nashoda froze, realizing what he'd done. "I'm sorry. I should have asked first. May I look at your hand?" Eleanor stared at him, at the genuine concern in his eyes, at the way he'd stopped the moment she tensed. "Yes," she whispered. "You can look." His touch was gentle as he cleaned the scrape and wrapped it in clean cloth. Eleanor watched his face as he worked, saw the care he took, the softness in his expression. When he finished, he started to pull away, but Eleanor spoke. "Wait." She swallowed hard. "Could you hold my hand?" Just for a moment. Nashoda's eyes met hers, asking silent permission to make sure this was truly what she wanted. When she nodded, he carefully took her uninjured hand in both of his. They sat that way for several minutes, Eleanor's breathing gradually steadying, her body slowly relaxing under the first gentle touch she'd received in years. "Thank you," she whispered. "For what?" "For not rushing me. For letting me come to you instead of demanding I submit. For building that fire one stick at a time." As months turned into a year, Eleanor bloomed like a desert flower after rain. She laughed more easily, spoke more freely, moved through the house without the constant tension of waiting for violence. Nashoda continued his patient teaching, showing her through daily actions that love could be safe, that strength could be gentle, that marriage could be partnership rather than ownership. One evening as they sat watching the sunset, Eleanor leaned against Nashoda's shoulder, a gesture that would have been impossible 6 months earlier. "I think I'm learning," she said softly. "Learning what?" "How to be loved. How to trust. How to believe that tomorrow won't bring punishment for today's happiness." She turned to look at him. "You were right. Love didn't need lessons. It just needed trust, and you gave me time to build that trust one day at a time." Nashoda wrapped his arm around her shoulders, moving slowly enough that she could pull away if she wanted. She didn't. Instead, she settled deeper into his embrace, finally allowing herself to feel safe in someone's arms. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that healing is possible and patience can transform lives, please share it with someone today. Maybe they need hope. Maybe they're learning to trust again. Or maybe they just need to know that gentle love exists. Subscribe for more stories about real healing and the power of patient love. Thank you for being here. See you in the next story.